This call is now being recorded.
Hi, Claudette.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Now, you got a busy schedule for being a mommy of, how many kids do you have? Three? You have three?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a busy schedule. How do you manage to do everything that you're doing and still stay mommy, like a full-time mommy?
Jesus. No. Oh, for real, yeah, Jesus. And no, I have support from my family and my friends.
Right, absolutely. Now, when it comes to R&B Divas, what was your first thought when you got the phone call about, number one, being on reality TV, number two, being with all these divas?
I guess I never really wanted to be on reality TV. That was never something that I planned on doing. I had also been approached before about other things that weren't as solid as the R&B Divas LA, but I never wanted to expose my children because I felt like that was a decision that they couldn't make. I would have to make for them, and they don't really know what they want as children. So, but when I was approached by TV One for R&B Divas LA, I was actually at a crossroads in my life. I was thinking about going to the Air Force Reserves, and I was just at a place where I've exhausted everything that I knew how to do to provide for my children. And I was looking at, years were going by. My son was turning 10 that year, and soon he would be going to college in a few years, and I didn't want him to not have that option because of my lack of preparing for his college or whatever else. So I looked at that as a way to be able to go to school and have it paid for and still make some money at the same time. Other than that, I was doing little jobs here and there. I also tried to start my own business a few times, and I was in real estate, but real estate wasn't doing so well. So, so that was the best option. Working little jobs and taking care of them and trying to go to school and getting it paid for was not working. So that was the best option to go for. I had been trying in the music industry for the last 10 years, and that wasn't lucrative enough. So, right when I signed up and I was ready to take my test on that date, that was when TV One approached me, and the date that I would have to fly out to go with them would be the date that I would have to complete my test and my oath and everything else.
Right.
So I was at a crossroads, and I researched the R&B Divas from Atlanta. This was before the second season. The first season had only came out, and I felt like it was more of a positive thing. And then they talked to me about my kids. They said they wouldn't overexpose them, and we began the negotiation process after a little prayer and consulting my friends and family. I decided to go ahead with it. Yep.
It really seems like you have been really, living your life up to this point of the song that you guys did in City High. What would you do? Because you really had to figure out what you were going to do in order to provide for your children.
Right. And there was, of course, there's other ways of trying to do it, but I'm a hardworking woman, and there's nothing in me that can do what the character in What Would You Do did. I couldn't do that.
Well, no, not necessarily.
So,
not necessarily
yeah.
like verbatim. No. Not necessarily like that, but
I'm just putting that out there because you know how people could twist things around. So I had to clear that up real quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how was it working with all the different divas? How's that for you?
It was interesting. I actually really enjoyed getting to know them, and because I was fans of them before, so actually getting to know who they are, and each one of the ladies are amazing. They all have beautiful spirits, and I see amazing things in each one of them. I personally didn't have any quote unquote beef with anyone.
Right.
So, as of now, everything is cool with me and all the ladies. I can't say that they're all cool with each other, but I adore all of them, and I've learned a lot from them and everything. Everything with the reality show was very structured, so it wasn't like we were constantly with each other. There were things were timed and, based on people's schedules and things like that. So
Right.
It was interesting, and I enjoyed it.
How was it?
Well,
yeah, like just being able to put out there a
expressing-
sensitive time during your life, a vulnerable time during your life.
Well, down to the night before, down to right before, I was nervous. Not only was it an audience, which I can perform in front of an audience, but it was being filmed. So was it being filmed and knowing that the show would be aired and not knowing how they would edit it or what? Because we did more than one story. They chose what story they wanted to use on film.
Right.
Each of the ladies did 2 or 3 stories. So they chose the one story that was like the second one that I did.
Okay.
So it was, man, I mean, I had to have a little glass of wine before and we all prayed. I know that doesn't mix, but the Lord is still working on me. But yes, we all had prayer and everything, and I also I wrote down notes and I went over bullet points and things like that. And once I got up there though, and I started to talk, the emotion, because I was afraid because I had moved on from it and I never talked about it again, so I didn't think the emotion would be there. And I was talking to Fred about it. I was like, Fred, I don't know if I'm going to be genuine because I'm over it now, and I don't cry about that anymore. I'm in a happy place in my life right now. I don't know if and he would just say, listen, everything's going to be all right. Just pull it out of you. You're an actress, blah, blah. And it actually worked out. When I got up there, I was able to go back there for a minute and understand that I was on a stage and this is theatrics and this is an audience, and I forgot about the cameras for a second, which is the only time I forgot about the cameras, because they tell you, after a while you forget about the cameras. I never forget about the cameras. I'm always like trying to be a lady and watch what I say so my mom don't be mad at me or what I kind of say on camera. So that's about the only time. But it came out and it worked out well.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you about, how was it being in the room with Shantae and Kelly, when they were, because both of them are so strong about how they felt and their, what they stand for and what they're going to do and what they're not going to. So how was the tension in the room when those two were at each other?
I was trying to assess the situation, and I was just listening and watching for the most part. I guess it's hard to really when it's being filmed and there's okay, they don't just roll the tape all the time. Sometimes they'll stop and say, okay, could you do this or can you say that? So in the reality, I would have interjected a little more and tried to be more of a peacemaker, because that's just kind of how I am, unless I'm being attacked.
Right.
But in that situation, I kind of could only observe, and I was lost myself, because I didn't. The way that it really happened was that we have a casting call. They give you a time and a set, so we weren't given the time and set to be filmed those days. So it wasn't like Shantae and Mo were being shady or anything. We just weren't given the time to go that,
right.
to be casted for that scene. So I was only casted in 2 scenes for rehearsal. I went to 1 rehearsal because that's what my call time was. Okay, rehearsal for Model Hogs at such and such a time. We're going to film with Claudette, blah, 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 blah. And
right.
that would be that. So that was my second time there. So I was lost myself. I kind of didn't know what was going on. But, you know, they had to have some kind of drama. So I guess, you know, it was kind of confusing a little bit. And
right.
But at the same time, for me, I just came from a rough place in my life. So these little issues were minor to me. I mean, I did care about how the ladies felt, but at the same time, it was kind of like, yo, it's not that serious. Let's just do this and keep it moving. Like things could be a lot worse because I just came from a lot worse, you know?
Right.
I was just like, look, we're all blessed. We're all here filming a show. Like, what are we really fighting about? This is a blessing.
Right.
That's how I was looking at it, which is why you don't really see me bickering or complaining about nothing.
Right.
I came from a rough place in my life, so I'm like, look, man, what are the call times? When are we filming? Great, wonderful. I'm there. I'm on time. Let's do it.
Right.
And then I'm going back to my kids, and I'm thanking the Lord that I'm not going to the Air Force right now.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely.